Hey everyone, welcome back to Talking Sense. I'm Ben. Yeah, I hope you're all really well. It's been a little while. I thought I'd do something a little bit different in this video. I thought I'd do like a pickup video, which I've never really done before. But I used to buy actually a lot more perfumes. Like these days, I feel like I'm buying a lot less. I'm actively trying to like cut down on my collection rather than kind of build it up at the moment. So I've actually bought less this month, but the perfumes that I did buy, I think are all really interesting. So, and also one of them's really exciting. So yeah, I thought I'd make this video. So yeah, these days, like I said, I'm trying to actually pare my collection down. I'm trying to like work on this kind of 1 in, 1 out system because I just feel like I've got like too much really, like more than I'm ever gonna need. But the perfumes that I bought this month were kind of part of that. I basically like evaluated my collection and sort of sat down and had a real kind of think about like where there are holes. And I found that I don't have a lot of like just regular sort of fresh, clean smelling, sort of just a regular kind of, Bleu de Chanel, Dior Sauvage, that kind of thing. Not necessarily those perfumes, but I don't have those kind of scents in my collection. So I kind of tried to find some stuff like that this month. Not just those, but that's one of the things that I tried to find. And I found some real beauties. So the first thing I bought was Mode Creation Munich Oris from the Infinity collection. It's got a really nice presentation. This is like just like a bit of a designer fragrance. But it's really eccentric. But it's got a really nice presentation. Comes in this like really cool box, and then you get like a kind of little bag that you can like travel bag for it. And the bottle for it is an absolute beast. So check that out. It's like solid as a rock. Like you could seriously, this is some weight behind this. Like if you threw this at a child, it would definitely kill it. And the notes in this are green mandarin, green notes, peppermint, Oris, red pepper, I think cormorant and musk. And it's really interesting. It's when you spray it, it's really fresh and clean. And I tell you, well, to sort of really go, this is not like a proper review. I'm more just kind of like introducing this. I will review it at some point, but really interestingly, like it smells like a bit like, straight off the top, you get this really nice mandarin. I don't really get the mint and that. You do definitely get the green notes and stuff with it, but it's a really nice fresh smell, and you get this like marine, sort of Bleu de Chanel, like Dior Sauvage kind of thing, right, straight away. Which if you've been watching my channel a lot, you might be quite surprised. This is not the sort of, this is kind of why I wanted to make this video, because this is not the sort of scent that I think you kind of normally would find on my channel. So that's why I thought I'd make this video really. But you get this like marine kind of Bleu de Chanel vibe, but it's really fascinating. It's a really interesting version. You've got this kind of marine vibe, but it's like totally on acid. It's completely eccentric. It's got this really strong like Oris. Like it starts out a little earthy, but it slowly sort of like that fades and it gets much more velvety and sort of buttery Oris. And you get this really strong pink pepper. Like pink pepper's got to be one of the main notes in this for me, like one of the most prominent. It's really in your face. Really jumps out of the middle of the perfume and gives it this like spicy edge that later sort of almost creates a kind of incense sort of vibe. And it's really nice. It keeps it smelling fresh. It keeps it smelling nice with that mandarin and the green notes, and that lasts the whole time. But at the same time, kind of completely eccentric. So I really like this because I wanted to try and find one of those perfumes, one of those kind of like Bleu de Chanel kind of perfumes, but at the same time there's no point just going and buy Bleu de Chanel, right? Because everyone's got that, like if I've got like a perfume collection that's quite varied and that and quite people like us that like collect a lot of perfume,
Blood Chanel's not really going to cut it. I mean, it's a nice fragrance, I guess, but you know, you don't want to smell like everyone else. The whole point is, you know, that you smell different, right? And this really nails it because it's totally recognizable. It totally smells like one of those kind of marine, kind of clean marine, white musky fragrances that are very fashionable and that, and totally suitable for like work and all those kind of things, and like any sort of situation. But at the same time, like, it's just really unique and interesting. I mean, I like Oris anyway. I love Iris and Oris anyway. But I really liked it. I thought this was really impressive. So yeah, MCM Oris was the first one that I picked up. And it's great. It's, yeah, a designer scent. So it's not like super expensive, but it's not mega cheap either. It's 100 ml, so you get a lot of it. And you know, it's a really nice scent. So worth checking out if you can find it like at a decent price, I'd say. So the second fragrance I picked up was Christian Dior Paris from the Maison Dior line, which, you know, these days it's kind of like a shadow of its former self. You know, the old Privets were like these kind of amazing orientals, and there's so many good fragrances from that line, and these days they're just kind of like, now it's Maison Dior and they've kind of rebranded it slightly. There's just a lot of like pap, right? But I know that although some of those fragrances are a little bit kind of pap, they're still really good quality. So that's where I kind of looked next. I was like, okay, let's have a look at that and see what kind of like decent quality fragrances they've got that smell, you know, decent, but still sort of interesting and good quality, but nice and fresh and all the rest of it. And then I just chanced on this one at a really good price, which was brilliant because this was one of the ones that actually I liked out of it. So this is Billiard Sauvage which is Wild Ride. So Billiard Sauvage has notes of bergamot, petitgrain, ozonic notes, fig, hedione, orange blossom, rose, fig tree, sea notes, solar notes, and peach, labdanum, pebbles, amberwood, and vanilla. So it's quite sort of varied. It sounds quite feminine from that note listing, you might think. A lot of fig and things like that. Now, I'm like a massive fan of fig fragrances, especially in the hot weather, because I'm not huge into citruses, and I feel like if you're not really massively into citruses, you don't get a lot of choice for the summer. You're kind of screwed. But I feel like with fig fragrances, and especially like fig, but I mainly feel like fig and tea fragrances for me are like my kind of jam in the summer, where, you know, because I'm not super into just like big heavy sort of citruses, but figs work, and tea fragrances kind of work as like replacements for that. They're still light, they're still fresh, they're still summery, but you don't have to be walking around like a big lemon. But this is really nice, this one. So it's Billiard Sauvage, and it's a beautiful fig fragrance, and I'm really impressed with it actually. It's at its full price, I certainly don't think I would be impressed. I'd be a little bit chuffed off because it's nothing special, but it's really high quality ingredients. Like, I really like the fig in this is beautiful, and it's definitely interesting. It's got that figginess, but it's got a kind of woodiness to that fig. And the sea note is quite nice. It's got like a bit of a salty sea. I mean, pebbles, I'm not sure about that, but it's got this kind of saltiness to it that's quite nice. And the peach and, you know, the rose in it just kind of give it a nice sweetness. Peach is really nice. That's kind of the thing that drew me to it actually, because I felt like it's slightly different, you know, peach and fig. But it is good. It starts off heavy on the peach when you spray it, but as you move through the fragrance and it sort of grows a bit, it turns to this nice woody fig. But again, really fresh, really clean, really pleasant. So, which is what I was looking for. Say, like in these fragrances, I was looking for, say, something that would be fresh, clean, nice, but at the same time, just slightly different, you know, slightly unique, and still good quality. And it's really nice. It's another really good one. So I was really impressed with that. Like, for the new Maison Dior line, which is kind of whack compared to what it used to be like, this is really good, and I really liked it. So that was another one that I picked up that I thought was great. So you know, for some clean sort of fresh summer scents, I think I've done a couple of winners there, and I think they're really interesting, and I think, you know, worth checking out if you can get your nose on them. More so, I would say MCM Oris. Billiard Sauvage is nice. It is really pleasant, but it's probably going to be less inspiring if you're looking for something artistic. This is more like just a kind of classy, high quality fragrance, I feel like. Whereas like MCM Oris, that's a little bit more of an artistic, eccentric take on something that is quite mainstream. But both really good, and I was impressed with both of them for the kind of warmer weather, I feel like. So yeah, I got one more fragrance this month, and this is a special one. I'm talking about Maison Dior and the Oud Privés. I was finally able to get my hands on a 250ml bottle of Dior Eau Noire, which is like super hype. I've been after this forever. It's like totally discontinued, really hard to get. I got a second-hand bottle, so it's been used a bit, but like it's like 200ml left in that bad boy, this big fat bottle of Eau Noire. So if you've not smelt Eau Noire, shame on you. It's amazing. Like, get your nose on it if you can. You can buy like decants of this like on eBay and stuff. So although it's discontinued and hard to get like a full bottle, it's definitely around. It's definitely like a Marmite scent, this one. I have reviewed it before, so if you want to check out my review, knock yourself out. But it's definitely like a Marmite scent. You get some people that absolutely love this, like myself. Like, I literally have been looking for this for years, and it was like when I found this bottle, I was basically like, how much do you want? I'll buy it. Like, so, if you can, it's hard to get in that sense, but it's not hard to just pick up a decant of it, for example. But the notes of Eau Noire are, what are the notes actually? So, like, the official notes are, anise. Wait, what actually are these notes? Sage and thyme on the top, apparently, and then lavender, cedar, coffee, immortelle, and saffron. And then in the base, you've got leather, violet, vanilla, and licorice. I mean, that's the listed notes, but honestly, like, just ignore that in a way. Like, this is a bonkers fragrance. When you spray it, I mean, I'm going to wear it because I've been wearing it ever since I bought it. Like, when you first spray it, you get this like massive black licorice sort of coffee note to it, and it's really strong. I mean, it punches you in the face, and it's not altogether pleasant. It's strong, like intense black, sort of very thick black coffee, and rather black licorice, like anisey kind of scent, and coffee, and it's pretty brutal. And that lasts about sort of 5 minutes, and then you start getting this lovely, like, there's also a lot of like herbalness going on here as well, a lot of like green herbal vibes going on. I guess definitely that you got that thyme and stuff in there, and it's real like kick, and it's really intense. But as it passes and as time goes on, it mellows, and you get this like really beautiful like lavender come out, and the coffee note pretty much dies. You do get like a little bit of licorice sticking around, but mainly you get this like weird, like I think it's like curry leaf, that a lot of people say, and it basically smells a bit like, it's too basic to say it smells like a curry. It smells like the herbs that go into a curry, but it is, I mean, to keep it basic, like people often say it smells like a curry, but it doesn't have the kind of grease and the all of that goes with that. It's a very herbal sort of curried spices, I guess, and that sounds really weird, right? But it mixes with this really dark chocolate that kind of hovers underneath. Like, I always feel like, for me, the way to describe Eau Noire best is like a dark chocolate base with a licorice and lavender and sort of spiced curried spices in the middle, and that's really what you get. And it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely classy. It's just gorgeous, and the lavender is really nice. It doesn't get overpowering, and it flip-flops between like being quite masculine and almost quite alpha. I mean, I say almost quite alpha. I would say this is pretty alpha. It's pretty like, this is a fragrance for the Billy Big Balls in the room, you know, and then like, you know, it separates the men from the boys, this frag, for sure. But then it flops into this like kind of like dark chocolate and lavender kind of almost quite feminine vibes to it, and it flip-flops between the two constantly. But it's beautiful and it's classy, and am I glad that I finally got hold of it, because it's just absolutely beautiful. Already now it's starting to die away and the curry is coming in, and the curry just blends into that coffee and licorice top like so well. It just creeps out. It's a gorgeous fragrance. So yeah, they were my pickups this week, or this month rather. I kind of went with two that were like, say, like really clean and quite different for this channel, and I'll review both of them separately. And then obviously Eau Noire is probably a bit more at home on this channel. But yeah, if, you know, depending on which one, if you like the sound of those, chuck like in the comments which one you think I should review first. I'm getting like backed up on reviews, to be honest. But MCM Oris definitely, I think, is probably the one I'll review first, because it's the more interesting of the two. It's a really interesting fragrance, and definitely worth a sniff if you can get your nose to it. Really quite weird, but at the same time, like completely familiar. But really nice. So yeah, I'll give that one a review at some point. And Billiard Sauvage is again really nice, but a little bit more basic, a little bit more simple. I bought that. I bought both of these really for just sort of to fill a gap in my collection, which is for those kind of clean sort of warm summer days, where you just want to smell fresh and clean and but not boring. So yeah, those were the other two that I bought, and they were really nice. So I'll review all of these anyway, except for Eau Noire, which has obviously had its review, but it's just a king of fragrances basically. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll get on the reviews pretty soon, and yeah, I'll see you all real soon. Cheers.